We're in the shop again finally, and I'm looking at the D-28 that we're looking at, the 70s. I forgot my memory chip in the house. We've got over 12 inches of snow right now, and I don't want to walk back to the house and get it. So I'm using my high technology phone for this little video. Okay, first thing I did on the guitar was mask off the amount that I want to scoot the bridge back. And it's just going to go back a little bit, but it's going to make it more right. So I cleaned up the wood underneath there and then taped it off, and I laid a layer of Stu McDonald amber super glue, which I have found to match the color pretty well. I'm not worried about having too much glue because I'm going to scrape that off. In fact, I want to make sure I have enough glue, especially in the corners. I found the super glue to be really a very good way to touch up that finish right there rather than shooting lacquer. Lacquer will just take you forever to build that back up, and it's never going to match the color right. The super glue matches pretty good, so I've used it a lot. Second thing I've done on this guitar is I've taken my 1950s D-18 bridge, and this is a 70s bridge, which of course I already told you I filled it in right here. But what I did now, the 50s bridge is thinner, meaning this way, just a little bit. So I matched them up here, like that. Did a pencil line on this one, and I'm going to reduce the bridge by about that much. You might not think that's a big deal, but what it does is it's going to let this bridge scoot back a little bit, and I'm not going to have to take much, if any, finish off of the back right here. So I'm going to have a thinner bridge, which looks more like a 50s, more like a 30s bridge, rather than this fat 70s bridge. And by taking a little bit off the rear, it's not going to encroach on the original finish. So I get two ends with that. And I feel like the thinner bridge is better because it rotates a little bit snappier. That's really the whole point in recutting the saddle slot so that it's at the correct place on the bridge. And you can see on this 50s how far forward it comes right there and back here. So what happens is the saddle acts like a fulcrum on the front of the bridge. And when you put the saddle in the middle of the bridge, you lose that fulcrum a little bit. Does it make any difference? I don't know. But I do know that looking at it, it changes the point of the fulcrum. And if you want to make the guitar sound like an older guitar, you got to use the older kind of thing, So thinner bridge, saddle in the right location. It's going to scoot back a little bit. The intonation should be good. So I'm going to let this super glue sit overnight. I don't like to use accelerator when I'm doing this because I want that super glue to soak down into there, and I don't want it to cure suddenly. I want it to sit there and dry naturally. Okay, so that's really all I've done on this guitar right now. So that's just a quick update. It's probably the shortest video I've ever made. So I'm going to run this over to the belt sander, and I will take that edge off right there, and then I will reshape the curve a little bit so that it matches it again. And I just get a chance to get everything looking a little bit better. That's something I started doing probably the time I did this guitar, This guitar, again, was in 2010, and I've done a lot of new things since then. You try to learn things, right? So I just started with every 70s bridge, taking that rear edge off if I'm using an original bridge. If I make my own bridge, I shape it to the 50s bridge. Or even if I use a pre-made bridge, like Stuart McDonald makes some really good vintage replicas, I still reshape it to that 50s. So I take the Stu Mac bridge blank, and I buy them without any slot, saddle slot on them, reshape it the way I want to. But it saves me a lot of time in having to cut the basic curve and get the basic shape, and saves me half an hour to an hour. But I do my personal touch to it. So, all right, that's all we're going to say about this guitar, except that it's got its new bridge plate in it, which you already know. So, here we go. See you later.